All right, we are on. We are here to talk about, what might happen tomorrow and then what's going to happen for a Christmas Day precipitation event. Notice we're not maybe saying snowstorm, but Tom, I think it's important. A lot of times we do these videos when there's a big storm on the way and we're all excited about it, but I thought maybe this time we could look at why that's probably not going to happen and what could happen to change.
Sure. Well, keep in mind, there is a big storm on the way, okay? This is going to be a whopper of a storm system if you're in North Dakota, South Dakota, and Northwest Minnesota, okay? So the problem with that storm system on Sunday, Monday is that it's going to track just a little bit too far northwest to give snow to southern Minnesota and Wisconsin. Okay, we're likely going to get rain out of this system. And the unusual track of this storm for this time of year is, to me, what the big news is. You don't often get major winter storms tracking well northwest of Minneapolis and St. Paul in the heart of winter, but that's what appears we're going to have. So,
are you concerned at all about a period of ice, Tom, or not really?
Not really, because if this storm slows down, which it looks like it may, even just by a few hours, then that'll give warm air more of an opportunity to come up and into our area on Sunday morning, which means that any precipitation that falls, especially if the precipitation holds off till afternoon, which it likely may, it'll fall in a warm environment that's above 32 degrees Fahrenheit, not only at the surface, Bill, but also aloft. And that's what's really weird about this storm, is that even at 850 millibars and 700 millibars, as you go up in our atmosphere, it's still going to be too warm to support snow. So just, late December, odd to have that situation.
Do you anticipate any snow at the end of that event, or not even?
Just a few flurries, maybe a couple of light snow showers, but as far
Tom, I can't get you excited about this, can I?
No. I mean, it's been hard to get excited about this storm at all because the computer model guidance, and Bill, we've said this many times now, but the model guidance this season has been fantastic for the most part. This storm was latched onto 3-4 days ago, and the track from computer model guidance hasn't changed a bit from even 3-4 days ago. So that's why the confidence is so high that it's going to be a warm event over southern Minnesota and Wisconsin, because guidance has had a consensus for several days now.
Yep. So let's talk about tomorrow. Do you see much snow in your crystal ball for tomorrow?
Well, I do. It looks like it's going to be a real nice snowfall tomorrow, especially late morning and afternoon. What you're looking at right now, Bill, is the infrared satellite over the United States, and it's not hard to tell where there's a storm system. It's this pinwheeling area of clouds depicted by the blues and the yellows and the greens. These are enhanced cloud tops, a little bit colder cloud tops down here in the desert Southwest. And the trajectory of the storm system is basically straight northeast. So it's going to pull out of Arizona and then roll into the plain states during the morning tomorrow, and then eventually into Iowa and Wisconsin by tomorrow afternoon. And that would place us in a favorable area for some snow, even though it's fairly warm out. I believe we're in the low to mid 30s right now over much of Minnesota and Wisconsin. So, and you can see this is the NAM future radar, Bill. This is hot off the press. You can see it's got an area of snow that blows up over southwestern Minnesota and western Iowa tomorrow morning. This is at about 7 a.m. And then that area of snow just engulfs all of southern Minnesota and Wisconsin by about noon, before quickly pulling off to the east by 6 p.m. tomorrow evening. So if there is going to be a rush hour tomorrow, even though it's the 23rd of December, but I'm sure we'll still have a little bit of a rush hour tomorrow afternoon. You can expect a very slow commute.
Tom, by the way, just to interject, do you know what tomorrow is?
Well, December 23rd.
It's Festivus. Tomorrow is the day that we all celebrate Festivus.
For the rest of us.
Oh,
right?
it's December the 23rd. Yeah, just a little value-added piece there for you. Okay, back to the maps.
That sounds like a Seinfeld reference, by the way.
It is. It is.
Loved that episode, by the way. But yeah, so that snow pulls off so that by tomorrow evening it'll be out of our hair. So traveling a little bit difficult between about 9 a.m. and 3 p.m. tomorrow afternoon, but it should get much better after that. And it does look like it's going to be in the form of snow, which is a little surprising because if you look at the 850 millibar temperatures, Bill, This is again off the NAM computer model guidance. I'm sorry, this is the 700 millibar temperatures, but we always talk about that 10 to 15 degrees Celsius area at 700 millibars.
Yep.
That's where good dendrite growth zone is. Well, it's not really over us today. This evening. It's kind of warm to support much snow this evening. But watch what happens. And Bill, we've talked about dynamic cooling, right? You remember that, right?
Yeah, but it's the precipitation that actually cools down the column of air. Is that right?
That's exactly what it is. And what I want you to focus on is, here's southern Minnesota, okay? So get your bearings straight. Watch what happens as we go through time overnight, tonight, and tomorrow morning. You see how the pinks show up over southern Minnesota?
Yep.
That is dynamic cooling that's going to take place, and it's going to cool our atmosphere tomorrow morning so that as the precipitation falls, it is actually going to create an environment that is supportive of snow over southern Minnesota and Wisconsin, all because precipitation will be falling through that column of air. And that also is the case, Bill, at 850 millibars. In fact, let's just go to that and show you how that dynamic cooling takes place at 850 millibars. Look, this is overnight tonight, a little too warm for snow, temperatures above 32 degrees at 850 millibars. But again, focus on southern Minnesota and look at how the atmosphere cools so that by tomorrow afternoon, it's more than cold enough to support snow. So this is really kind of a geeky but cool thing that happens in meteorology, and really gets us weather geeks kind of excited, dynamic cooling. And that's why we're expecting snow. So now we look and we turn our attention towards the weekend.
Tom, by the way, did you have any accumulations forecast for tomorrow, or?
I do, but let's just hold off real quick on. I'll show you that right at the end.
Okay.
I just wanted to touch on the weekend storm. This would be Sunday and Monday, because there's been a lot of talk about it, but there just really isn't too much of a reason to get excited for it here in southern Minnesota. But anyway, here's the jet stream, the river of air at 30,000 feet, and you can see a massive trough over the western United States. This is Saturday evening, indicative of a major storm system. And then watch what happens as we go through time. That storm system explodes over North Dakota and northern Minnesota. They're going to have a blizzard up there on Sunday night. All right, but here's where southern Minnesota is. We've got the jet stream almost right overhead. Very strong winds right over southern Minnesota, Wisconsin, and Iowa. And that's not only at 300 millibars, Bill, that is also the case at 500 millibars. So basically all throughout all layers of our atmosphere, winds are going to be very strong out of the south. That means a couple of things, Bill. That means that, first of all, warm air is going to get pumped into southern Minnesota. And second of all, we're going to probably get dry slotted by this storm, which means we'll get a quick round of showers, maybe even a rumble of thunder. But for the most part, Sunday may actually turn out to be an okay day, especially Sunday evening, because we're going to get dry slotted. The precipitation is going to come to an end, and everybody's going to be wondering why the heck there was such a fuss about this storm system. Meanwhile, as we are basking in the 40-degree weather on Sunday night, there will be a raging blizzard in North Dakota and northwest Minnesota, and that's all because of this jet stream pattern that you see over the United States and this pinwheeling low over the Dakotas. So a real interesting storm. This thing's going to drop 1 foot to 2 feet of snow in North Dakota and northwest Minnesota. And again, we're going to be well above 32 degrees much of the day Sunday and into Sunday night.
Tom, I want you to know I haven't made any fun of the wording dry slide. It's a weird term, but it's where I'm letting you go with it. So
I tell you what, it's very important in our industry to know where that dry slot is, because usually, Bill, the snow falls just to the northwest of where that dry slot occurs. So hence the reason why North Dakota and northwest Minnesota looks to get really hammered.
And then southeast of the dry slot, that's where there will be just a good amount of rain, right? Like, so it's
rain, and not only that, but potential for some severe weather. I know it's weird to talk about severe weather in late December, but you get down into southern Iowa, Missouri, maybe even Illinois, they may be talking about some severe weather down there Sunday night into Monday morning.
Wow.
So last but not least, Bill, here's your snow totals potential. Again, potential now for snow. This is for Friday.
So Tom, when you say potential, is that distinguished from prediction?
That is, yeah, we need to kind of separate them. This is just potential. But of course, usually that also, for the most part, means that I think we're going to get somewhere near these totals.
Okay, because I mean, the average person looks at that map, sees the inches, and just assumes.
Right. I mean, to me, these totals are going to be either near this, and I always like to maybe overestimate a little bit because I just don't want to be surprised. There's something about, I don't know, that's just my way of thinking, Bill, is that I would rather overestimate a little bit and then come under rather than vice versa, always be low and then get surprised by a big storm. I just think travelers...
That's the opposite of like The Price is Right? People bid, but they can't come.
It is, but I'm thinking from a traveler standpoint, Bill. I mean, I would like to know what the max amount is to kind of prepare for that. And then if I'm traveling and we get less than that, awesome. Yep. I don't know. It might be a weird way to look at it, but that's the way I look at it. But anyway, this is potential from about the downtowns of Minneapolis and St. Paul on south and east. Should be a good solid 2 to 4 inches of snow tomorrow. And I'm thinking more in that 2-inch range over at MSP International. And then as you get down towards Rochester, Eau Claire, and La Crosse, they have a better opportunity of receiving close to 4 inches out of this system. This is going to be a heavy, wet snow that's kind of difficult to shovel. So it's a good thing that it won't be, a half a foot to a foot of snow. But still, definitely should be enough to coat the ground and make things look real pretty for the Christmas holiday this weekend.
And then it'll probably be washed away.
And then some of it will wash away on Sunday. But rest assured, Bill, we'll get back into the cold. This warm air is only going to be around for a couple days here. It'll get cold again as we head into next week.
Yep. And then all will be well in the Northland.
Right. And that'll set us up for snow again, which then that'll make everybody happy.
Yeah. All right, Tom. Well, I'm sure you'll let us know if anything suddenly ends up changing, but it sounds like the Christmas Day storm is going to be a so what kind of a thing.
Exactly, at least here in southern Minnesota. But check in with your relatives up in North Dakota, northwest Minnesota. They're going to be in trouble as we head into Christmas night.
Does anybody lives up? People live there?
People do live up there, Bill.
Okay.
That's where I grew up.
Okay. Well, thank you for that, Tom. Let me take my foot out of my mouth here, and then we'll go. All right, thanks,
All right, Bill. Have a good Christmas.
Yeah, bye-bye. Bye-bye.